the biggest favor you did for nothing? I helped plan my sister's wedding from start to finish and paid for the dress and even designed the invitations myself. She told me I'd be the maid of honor, and I believed her because she was my sister, and I thought we were close. I was 28 at the time and doing pretty well financially, but my sister was 31 and barely holding a job, and her fiance had just gotten laid off. So I stepped in and helped her like I always did when we were kids. When we started planning, she called me every day because she wanted advice with colors, table stuff, and music, but I didn't mind because I liked being part of it. She told everyone that she couldn't do it without me, and I was the real MVP behind the wedding. But 2 days before the wedding, I drove her across town to get her nails done, and we laughed the whole way there. But when I dropped her off at her place, she hugged me and told me couldn't wait to see me walk down the aisle next to her. But then the next morning, she sent a group text to me and some others, and it said we had to change the wedding group last minute because we needed the seats for more important people, and she hoped we'd understand. I didn't answer and waited for her to call or explain, but she didn't. The wedding happened without me in it, and she didn't even save me a seat. I found out later that she cut me out because her new family didn't like how involved I was, and they thought I made the wedding about me. So she dropped me last minute to keep them happy. I felt so hurt and betrayed that I deleted her from social media. But 6 months passed, and one night while I was watching TV, my phone buzzed with a message from her husband. My hands shook because he told me it had been a long time since we talked. I wanted to ignore it, but then I realized this might be my chance to make things right. So I decided to play along, and we started texting back and forth. He told me my sister changed after the wedding and wasn't the same person he married, so I pretended to agree and acted like I felt bad for him. After 2 weeks of texting, he asked if we could meet for coffee, and I said yes, because I wanted to see how far I could take this. At the coffee shop, he looked sad and tired. He told me how my sister spent all their money shopping and never cleaned their house. I listened carefully and nodded along, and when he finished talking, I reached across the table and held his hand and told him he deserved better, and his eyes lit up when I said that, and that's when I had him. Over the next month, I gave him advice about his marriage and told him he should protect his money by moving it to a separate account and talk to a lawyer about his options, and I even helped him find a good one for divorce. He did everything I said and even demanded full ownership of the house and all the money. But when my sister called me crying, I pretended to be shocked. She told me he took everything and left her broke, so she might have to move back in with our parents because she couldn't afford rent, and that's when I saw my big chance. I told her I was actually planning my own wedding and needed help organizing everything, and I'd pay her good money. She said yes fast because she was desperate for money, but she didn't even ask who I was marrying. For the next 3 months, my sister worked tirelessly on my wedding plans. She picked out flowers, tasted cakes, and even wrote beautiful vows about love and commitment, not knowing she was writing them for her own ex-husband. But the hardest part was keeping a straight face when she showed me options, but I just said yes to everything. On the wedding morning, my sister arrived early to make sure everything was perfect, and she was still fixing decorations when I walked out in my wedding dress. But her face went completely white when she saw me with her ex-husband in his tuxedo and asked what was happening. But I told her she was planning her own replacement wedding this whole time, and she screamed and ran at me, but the guards grabbed her and pulled her out, and I just smiled and waved as they took her away. But after the wedding, she texted me and told me she'd never forgive me for this. So I replied back her own words, "I hope you understand." Then I blocked her number forever.